What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 18th day of November, and here we are at about $0.0054 right now. Hit that like button, my friends. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. So we have gone lower. We have gone lower. Our double bottom prospects are out the window, unfortunately, and we live to fight another day. If we're looking at this on a daily perspective, we do still have bullish divergence on our RSI. We do have some bullish divergence on the MACD and the stochastics as well on the daily time frame. We also have the XCN BTC chart here, where on a weekly time frame we have very severe bullish divergence on the MACD and double bullish divergence on the stochastics. We don't have bullish divergence on the RSI, but we are very oversold. We're the most oversold that we've been since 2023. I think that in itself says something that we at least have some type of life in us, right? And again, this is the XCN BTC chart. If you're with me, you're assuming, just like I am, that we will see higher highs in this chart, right, at some point. If you're not with me, at least get on the same page, at least with the idea that we do find support here, and nothing moves in a straight line forever. Okay, even if you're not with me in the idea that we go to a higher high, maybe at least be on board with the idea that we do move up to this zone to find resistance and then come down lower, right? And with that, it's very common to go from your golden ratio zone to your 0.5 or 382 area. With that, that's anything from a 45% pump versus Bitcoin, about a 50% pump there, to about 120% pump versus Bitcoin. If OnyxCoin is projected to pump 50 to 100%, 120% versus Bitcoin, likely it sees a margin higher on the US dollar pair, right? Like a 50% pump versus Bitcoin might be a 70% pump on the price, or an 80% pump. It depends on what Bitcoin does. Here we are now at about half a cent with an immaculate reaction off of these levels. And we have interacted finally with some prior forms of resistance here. We're not just stopping in the middle of nowhere's land. So where the XCN BTC chart I do think is really a strong thing to lean on as far as support goes, the US dollar chart interacting with prior areas of resistance is also nice to see. Again, we can go lower. We absolutely can go lower. But from here, from a low to a high, the amount of lower that we would go, I mean, the golden ratio is just right there. So if we do go lower, 0.0448, 0.0339, that would be the lowest that we go. And just like we saw today, I would expect that reaction is very short-lived. Very, very short-lived. If we're looking at XCN USD and we go on the Binance perpetuals, you can see here that on a 15-minute time frame, so these are perpetuals. Binance doesn't actually have Onyx coins to trade. If you're trading Onyx coin on Binance, you don't own Onyx coin. You can't sell it, you can't send it or receive Onyx coins. You can just trade it, right? You can buy and sell, short and long, stuff like that. But it's not the same thing as spot trading. They might have spot positions themselves. They might own some XCN, but it's just trading. It's not for you. It's not for individual ownership. And here on this 15-minute time frame, there were 517 million, I think, dollars is what that is, in Onyx coins that were shorted. Is that what it is, or is it 515 million Onyx coins? 517 million Onyx coins. Maybe that's what it is. Just Onyx coins, not dollars. But you can see here where the volume is. There's 517 million. That's a lot of cheddar right there. Versus Coinbase, 517 million versus Coinbase had 145 million, which is a lot still, but because again, this is the perpetuals and this is not a spot, that means that what happened here was a lot of short selling happened for OnyxCoin. A lot of short selling pressure happened for OnyxCoin, and now those shorts are underwater. We actually have some leverage, I think, to the upside. I'm kind of curious, do we have OnyxCoin on CoinGlass? Let's just see, XCN. It says no options. Let me refresh this page and just see. I know we're having an outage around the world with Cloudflare, CloudShare, whatever it might be, cloud storage, whatever it's called. Let's see if it lets me. Okay, there we go. XCN over the past day. It's going to be very low liquidity. But yeah, a lot of shorts. More shorts than longs. $220,000 worth of shorts. 133,000 in longs. It's just so small compared to some of these other charts that we look at over the past 30 days. Let's see. The longs are decimated. The shorts have it by a lot. Okay, there are definitely a lot of shorts to be cleared out on the Binance and the Bybit charts, but if they keep shorting it, I don't know, man. They can keep pushing the price down. That's definitely a possibility. But again, there was a lot of short positions taken out here, and they're underwater now. It makes me think that we might squeeze those shorts and move up higher. I don't know what the leverage capacity is for this. How high of a leverage they can do. Is it 5x, 10x, 100x? I don't know. But I would assume they haven't cleared out yet. I mean, 16% to the upside. I would imagine they're doing low leverage. I don't know. Anyways, XCN USD getting back to work here. I just thought it was interesting that we had a quick sell-off like that, and then we pumped back up with virtually no volume at all. Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, we do have a bit of a double bottom in the RSI here and here. Maybe it's not a double bottom, it's a slightly lower low, but we have found a low. It looks like a double bottom here, but when you zoom in, I guess it's not. Bullish divergence on the MACD. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. Overall, the 1 hour RSI is a little bit bearish. We are finding resistance continuously at the 60, getting oversold, not getting overbought. Very bearish. What we're looking for is a reading that can get above 60 and ideally get into the overbought zone. We start to flip the script a little bit where we're not getting oversold anymore, where we're bouncing off the 40 or the 50 and we're getting overbought consistently. That's what we want to see, but we're a little bit of a ways away from there. I'm not really getting much off the RSI if we're being fair. The stochastics are bullish and the MACD is bullish, but that doesn't mean that we have to move up higher from here. It's kind of an interesting little divot that you had right here. It's kind of interesting. I don't know what to make of that, but the 1 hour is not really giving me too much to go off of. The 4 hour time frame here, looking at this, we do have bullish divergence on the stochastics. There's no bullish divergence. We actually got rid of that off the MACD, which is not a good sign, and the RSI also got rid of its bullish divergence as well. We are at a low point. Whenever it comes to the RSI, we typically don't go too much lower than where we are here. So I would expect, just like this time here, that we would at least make some strides higher. But do we get into the overbought zone? Do we persist? Do we see some strength? Or is this just going to be a point at which we reject and we come back to the oversold zone and go lower? At any case, in any case, I would expect some recovery from here, but it depends on what we do that would mark this as the low or a point of which we still go lower, right? It's a nice bottom. It's a nice reaction. We have a lot of volume there, but we need to see more, right? We've seen a lot of nice bottoms on this trail of tears that we've got going on since April. Is that bad? Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. It is a trail of tears, but I'm not trying to compare it to the actual tragedy that was the trail of tears. Daily time frame here. Bullish divergence on the RSI, bullish divergence on the stochastics, and bullish divergence on the MACD. Weekly time frame, we do have bullish divergence on the stochastics. There is bullish divergence on the MACD, but I don't know how to feel about that because you did have bullish divergence here, and then you started building momentum. Is it still bullish divergence? I don't know. What I was taught is that no, this is no longer bullish divergence, but I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The MACD is kind of weird because you still have moved down this whole time. You didn't move up on any of these days, so maybe it is still bullish divergence. But the XCN BTC chart is what we really lean on. This is what makes me think that we're going to move higher, is that we're finding support at the golden ratio. We're finding support at prior areas of resistance here. If we take a low point here to a high point there, we've literally gone just below the 1414, and it's very common to wick below the 1414 and then close above it, so I would expect by the end of this week we close above it. That should allow us to grow back to this 886, 786 area. That's the thought there. And if we take a low to a high, is that what we wanted? Yes, yeah. That 886, 786 area that I circled right there is right at the 382, which it's very common to go from your golden ratio to your 0.5 or 382 area. So something on the lines, I guess we are expecting more of a 100% bounce versus Bitcoin. Something around there that should allow OnyxCoin again to get back above 1 cent. Here we are at about half a cent US dollar. If it's going to pump 100% versus Bitcoin or more, we'll likely see more than 100% pump for OnyxCoin here, which should again take us above 1 cent. I do think that we have some kind of bounce in order. And again, what we're talking about here, just because of how things have played out with Bitcoin and the rest of the market, I don't think it's appropriate to really be talking about higher prices. I still do have higher prices in mind. I have not sold any Onyx coins. I'm only buying more. If anything, I'm still staking, getting those rewards, right, to help mitigate the pain here. But before we start talking about higher prices, I think we need to show some life, right? So first and foremost, I think we should just consider for now 1.17 cents as a target area and 1.5 cents as a target area, something of a lower high, maybe just above this lower high trend. If we can get above these highs here at about 1.4 cents, that to me would signal a breakout, and that would lead us to start talking about higher prices again. But until then, let's just stay focused on the next step ahead, which in my opinion is somewhere around 1.2 cents, 1.17 cents, somewhere around there. We'll go from there. At that area there, if we have a V-shaped recovery, we could be forming some type of a inverse head and shoulders pattern here, and that could lead to higher prices. But again, ultimately getting above 1.4 cents, breaking this here, I think is what will lead to a breakout of this trend, which will lead to us getting to higher prices. So until we see that, I think it's just important to focus on the next step, which is 1.2 cents at the moment. I don't have anything else that I want to say. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Discerning, concerning, not discerning, concerning. But we are at high levels of fear in the markets. Bitcoin's very oversold. A lot of altcoins are very oversold, and I really do believe that we're about to see a massive recovery across the board. It's definitely a terrible time to sell. It's probably the best time to buy, right? Fear and despair is rampant in the streets. It's the best time to buy. But with that being said, again, we still could go a little bit lower. We could interact with this high or that high, ultimately bringing us down from a low to a high here to our golden ratio zone. So it is very possible that we could do that. I've got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'm still holding, not going anywhere. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.